The Lost Relic of Zonder, A Bedtime Adventure, Chapter 1. The cryptic map, the heavy scent of leather and dust filled the air of Professor Aaron Blackall's cluttered study. Ancient books lined the wall from floor to ceiling, while an array of mysterious artifacts, everything from worn-out helmets to shards of pottery, lay strewn across tables and shelves. This was Aaron's world, and for as long as he could remember, it had been his life's work to study history and uncover its buried secrets. Tonight, however, his study was filled with something far more intriguing, a map old, fragile, and yellowed with age. Aaron's sharp blue eyes followed the winding paths and cryptic symbols etched onto the parchment. His heart raced as he realized what he was holding. This wasn't just any map, it was a guide to the legendary relic of Zonder, a treasure that had been lost for centuries. Aaron muttered to himself, "This could change everything." The relic was said to possess an unimaginable power, rumored to be a key to a forgotten civilization. For years, adventurers and treasure hunters had sought it, only to disappear into the vast wilderness that protected it. Many believe the relic to be a myth, but Aaron knew better. He had spent his entire career studying the legends, and now, finally, he had proof. "Time to pack," he murmured with a grin. He grabbed his worn leather satchel, tossed in a few essentials rope, his notebook, a water canteen, and made his way toward the door. His usual research assistant, a young but capable woman named Elena Knight, was already waiting for him in the hallway. Late as usual, Elena teased, her green eyes twinkling with excitement. She was dressed for the occasion, wearing a sturdy jacket, boots, and a backpack slung over her shoulder. Aaron held up the map. "I think you'll forgive me once you see this." Elena's eyes widened as she examined the parchment. "Is this the map to the relic of Zonder?" Aaron confirmed. "I hope you've got a good plan," Elena said, tucking the map into her own backpack. "If this thing is real, we won't be the only ones looking for it." Aaron nodded grimly. "Oh, I'm sure others will be hot on our trail. But we're getting there first." The two made their way out of Aaron's study and into the cold night air. Their journey would take them halfway across the world, into the heart of uncharted jungle territory where no maps but theirs could guide them. Chapter 2. Into the Unknown. Days later, after long flights and a harrowing trek through dense jungle, Aaron and Elena stood on the edge of a cliff, looking out over an expanse of thick greenery that stretched for miles in every direction. The humidity was oppressive, and the air was thick with the sounds of distant animals and the buzz of insects. Below them, a hidden valley lay shrouded in mist. "This is untouched by time," Aaron said, adjusting the straps of his satchel as he checked the map once more. "The Valley of Zonder, the relic should be at the heart of it. Getting down there isn't going to be easy," Elena said, surveying the steep drop ahead of them. "We'll manage," Aaron replied, already securing a rope to a nearby tree. He grinned at her. "Besides, one has easy ever been part of the job." Her eyes, but there was a hint of a smile on her lips as she fastened her own harness. Together they began their descent down the cliff face, inching their way toward the valley below. The rock was slick from the recent rains, and more than once Aaron's grip slipped, causing his heart to lurch in his chest. But after what felt like hours, they finally touched solid ground deep within the jungle. The air here was even thicker, and the foliage was dense, with towering trees that blotted out the sun. The ground beneath their feet was soft, covered in layers of decaying leaves. Aaron and Elena moved cautiously, their senses on high alert as they pushed forward. According to the map, the entrance to the Temple of Zonter should be somewhere nearby, Aaron said, keeping his voice low. But we'll have to be careful. The legends say the temple is guarded by traps. Elena nodded. I'll keep an eye out. You focus on the map. They continued deeper into the jungle, the sounds of the wildlife growing more distant as the trees thickened around them. The air felt heavy with mystery, and Aaron couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. Suddenly, Elena froze, holding up a hand to stop Aaron in his tracks. Do you hear that? Aaron strained his ears, and then he heard it too, a soft rustling sound, followed by the unmistakable click of a mechanism being triggered. Elena shouted, grabbing Aaron and diving to the side just as a series of sharp wooden spikes shot up from the ground where they had been standing. Both of them lay there for a moment, breathing heavily before Aaron broke the silence. Close one, he said, still staring at the spikes. Too close, Elena muttered, getting to her feet. We need to be more careful. The temple is probably crawling with traps like this. Aaron dusted himself off and gave her a sheepish grin. Agreed. Let's keep our wits about us. Chapter 3. The Temple of Zonter. After hours of cautious trekking, they finally found it hidden beneath a thick canopy of vines and overgrowth, the entrance to the Temple of Zonter. The stone structure was ancient, its carvings worn down by centuries of weather and time. Massive stone pillars flanked the doorway, each adorned with intricate symbols that seemed to tell a forgotten story. We made it, Aaron said, his voice filled with awe. The temple. Elena gazed at the stone entrance. It looks like no one's been here for centuries. Good. That means the relic should still be inside. With adrenaline coursing through their veins, they approached the entrance. As they stepped inside, the temperature dropped, and a cool, damp air greeted them. The walls of the temple were adorned with faded murals, depicting scenes of a once great civilization, priests performing rituals, warriors defending their land, and at the center of it all, the relic of Zonter. This place is amazing, people, Elena whispered, running her hand along the ancient carvings. Aaron nodded, but his focus was on something else. The deeper they ventured into the temple, the more ominous the atmosphere became. The faint glow of their torches barely penetrated the darkness, and the air felt thick with the weight of centuries of secrets. They turned a corner and found themselves in a massive chamber, its ceiling disappearing into the shadows above. In the center of the room, resting on a stone pedestal, was the relic. The relic of Zonter was even more breathtaking than Aaron had imagined. It was a large, intricately carved orb of jade, encased in golden metal, with strange symbols etched into its surface. A faint light seemed to pulse from within it, as if the relic itself was alive. This is it, Aaron breathed, the relic of Zonter. But as they approached the pedestal, Elena grabbed Aaron's arm, her eyes narrowing in suspicion. Wait, she said. Something's not right. This is too easy. Aaron frowned, but stepped back, scanning the room for any signs of danger. His instincts told him that Elena was right. After everything they'd been through, the relic was too easy to reach. And then he saw a faint outline of a pressure plate just in front of the pedestal. It's a trap, Aaron said. If we take the relic, it'll trigger something. We need to disarm it. Elena studied the floor carefully. Looks like we have to shift the weight off the plate. If we can find something of equal weight. Aaron glanced around the room, his eyes falling on a large stone idol in the corner. It was about the same size as the relic. "Help me with this," Aaron said, and together they carefully moved the idol toward the pedestal. Holding their breath, they made the switch, placing the idol where the relic had been and lifting the orb from the pressure plate. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a faint click, the ground began to rumble.